Okay, good morning. It is March 28th. Today is Thursday. It is, let's see, about 6:40 a.m. Pacific time. Happy opening day, baby. Opening day baseball. Can't wait. So let's see here. We are going to take a look real quick. Just a quick review. If you watch any of my other videos, you should already kind of know the setup here, but what we're looking at, what you have in front of you are price ladders or order book or depth of market, whatever you want to call them. From left to right, these are individual products here, and from left to right we have the Ultra Bond. We have the 30-year bond, symbol ZB. Right here we have the ZF, which is the 5-year. Kind of in the middle here, which is the product I trade mostly, is the ZN, which is the 10-year Treasury. The T-Note, and then all the way here on the right is the E-mini S&P. Just kind of use that as a negative correlator to all these other products over here. Okay, so let's take a quick look at the overnight action. Just glancing at a chart. It's probably the only time I'll do this all day, is look at a chart. Let's see, sort of just went sideways during the early overnight up here. Then looks like we had European Open and a little bit of news came out. Well, European Open, everything just sort of fell into place down to the overnight low, which is kind of where we are now. And then looks like some news came out. We shot up here to 25.5, which is right around in this ballpark, this area here. And then we've just sort of been slumping down ever since. The pit opened, it kind of went crazy in this little area, and then it's been selling off ever since. We just had several attempts at the overnight low. It was during the cash open, and it bounced off a couple times, and then now it's just basically trading through it, which is kind of what you would expect. I watched it, I was surprised it actually bounced, the 2 or 3 times that it did. I expected it just to trade right through, and eventually it did. So if this is just completely foreign to you, this whole setup and all these numbers flashing and you don't know, can't make heads or tails of it, I suggest you get out of this video and then go look for some videos on YouTube by No BS Day Trading and Jigsaw Trading. Jigsaw actually is the proprietor of the platform, and No BS Day Trading is a master at trading treasuries, which is all I trade. I will put a little link up here in the right hand corner for you to click on so you can get some more information, make it nice and easy for you. Okay, let's look at an economic calendar. Let's see what we have on tap for today. Let's see, Thursday we had some GDP, quarterly GDP numbers came out, slight miss, not a big deal. We have a couple of Fed speakers, not worried about them. We have a 7-year note auction at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Got to keep an eye out for that one. And a bunch of, let's see, we have pending home sales coming out at 7 a.m. That should be interesting. Pretty much everything else is either in the past or inconsequential. Okay, so let's see, as far as areas of interest as of right now, I would have said the overnight low. but we've kind of powered through that already. Get rid of this guy. This is an old legacy. And also we didn't open down here. Got to get rid of that guy. At this point, you'd just be looking at kind of a momentum fade trade to try to trade this back up into the range. Otherwise, you're looking at continuation from the overnight low down. Those are basically the only setups I'm seeing as of right now. So you know, 16 even or 15 half, you'd sell this market because it is aggressively selling down. We have several ticks, you know, below the low, which is it's showing that sellers are having some aggression right now. So you could see some profit taking as this pops back up, and then you could sell it right back down. That's one setup I could see right now. The other one is trying to look for absorption. So you want to see buyers like sucking up all this selling at some point. You can see a nice little volume node develop over here, and then fade it back up towards the range. 2 trade ideas, that's kind of what we're looking for. Depends on what your style is, depends on how comfortable you are. Some people don't like to fade. I never faded for a long time, and then now I fade quite a bit because it can be very lucrative. You can jump in and this sucker will trade all the way back up sometimes. It's when you get lucky. So it's kind of exactly what we're seeing here. So you have about 10,000. If you just take a look, just walking down the volume profile, 7,500, 10,000, 1,600, 5,000, 800, 6,000, then you have 11,000 trading right there. You want to see that obviously stick a little bit longer. But that sort of tells you that buyers are pushing back. And sellers did push this, you know, a couple ticks past, and buyers push it right back up. So they're sort of starting to step back in here. Some pretty good price action this morning. So it could have some good opportunities. I'm not going to be too quick to take profits or take anything off for that matter. It's 6:45, so I want to let this kind of settle out a little bit more. I don't like trading in the first half an hour of cash open. So we're just going to kind of hang out a little bit longer. Maybe we get a retest down here and see what the reaction is. Again, the retest could be continuation lower, so that's kind of a, I think the fade, we just missed the fade trade. If it was happening, it would have happened here at probably 11.5 when you saw that big volume node develop. Could have jumped in, and if you'd handle the heat of those 2 ticks down, this might pop all the way back up to, again, that area that we identified previously. It's 16 or 15.5. So that's what we're looking at as of right now. I'm just going to go through here and clean things up. And yeah, just noticed this decent little volume node here in the ES. I mean, same applies, principles apply across all products. So, you know, this could be indicative of something. Sellers were coming down and buyers basically stopped in and said, not anymore, we're taking this back up, and that's kind of what happened. Obviously, the ES doesn't hold to a tick like the ZN sometimes can, but that might have been the motivation for driving this back up. So it's, you know, again, good example. Obviously not actionable anymore because it's already passed, but it could be what happened down at the low, the current low of the day on the ES. So I'm going to continue to caffeinate. I'm going to put some socks on because my feet are cold, and I will be back shortly. So I just took out the historical bids and asks, the market orders that I like to see keep here on these in these right columns, and the reason for that is I like to see the most recent range. I don't really care what the overnight did all the way up here. So I should have wiped that out when I first got here around 6:30, or probably a little bit 6:15, but that's fine. Yeah, it just gives me an idea, because this is a very rangy product, likes to oscillate back and forth. Just gives me an idea of the most recent highs and lows. Again, you could look at a chart for that kind of stuff, but I try to keep my eyes on the price ladder. So, and charts are just a distraction, in my opinion. I used to live and die on the charts, but now I think they are pretty much useless. They are historical information, and if you're trading real time using historical information, you're already behind the 8 ball, in my opinion. It was a tough lesson to learn, but it's a valuable lesson. This is basically the only way to trade. So again, still not seeing anything unless we get back down to these lows. Look for a double bottom, or if we get up here to the overnight low, which is some pretty obvious resistance. This is just sort of hanging out, watching, which is a lot of what trading is. Just waiting and watching. Okay, so we are coming up here. We're approaching the overnight low. And what we want to see here is sellers really step in and start slamming this back down. And they want to put a stop to any buying that happens at this level. And just give it no choice but to just go right back down. And I'm just going through and cleaning stuff up. Get a nice clean look at what's happening. So we have some pretty decent selling thus far. My only issue with trading here is you kind of don't know exactly where you're wrong. You kind of have to have a long, fairly decent gap, or not gap, but just like a cushion, I guess, on your stop loss. Because knowing exactly where you're wrong is a little bit tough when they're pushing back into the range like this, because this could all just build in, this volume profile could all just build in. Point of control would shift down. If they just ignore this level, again, it's a pretty obvious resistance point. Just the way that, you have some light bids and offers. Normally we see, 5,000-6,000 over here, and it's a little bit light, so this is going to be just sort of taking shots, a little bit more quick, a little bit more volatile than we're normally seeing. I paid up on that one. $30 years trading down. We are 163 in the queue. If you can't see that, that's where we are in line to get filled. Just nobody's buying this back up here yet. I mean, 163 is nothing in the most liquid market. in the futures. Okay, so we got a fill. I'm going to move these around a little bit because I think ranges have expanded and we're moving a little bit more than normal. Yeah, I don't like where, I would have preferred to get filled at 16.5 or 16. Again, paid up a little bit. But that's just how it goes. Sometimes. It might be a little bit uncomfortable here for a moment until we get a couple ticks in our favor. If we get a couple ticks in our favor, would have liked to have seen them start hitting down into the 15 even already. I don't want to jinx myself, but at least we haven't gone bid at 15.5. So far so good. 3,400 down and they can't take. Damn. Buyers just sucked all that up. Just. It's a little unnerving. Starting to get some volume develop over here in the ES. That could be indicative of sellers stepping in, trying to push that thing lower. 30 years back up to our black line here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to reset that. Just gives me a reference of where the different products are. I try not to move it after I've entered. Gives me a reference of where they've traded since I got into the trade. Wow, this is really going against me. Again, this is our optimal entry right here. 16 even. So where I don't like to have a 3-tick stop, I kind of have to keep it right now, just because I know that's exactly where I'm wrong at 17. But with this price action, it could blow up into it and then come right back down. Yeah, I don't like how that pulled off and this beefed up. Yeah, they're really buying this market today. Probably should have held off on this trade a little bit longer. Ultra bonds way up, 4 ticks up. We need that ES to push higher to put some pressure on these guys over here. Continuation trade is not my favorite trade. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but you need a trending market. And again, like I stated previously, this Treasuries typically oscillate around a center point more than not. So that could have been just a second chance selling opportunity. We'll see. God, again, they're soaking up right here. Just eating up all the selling at that level. It's the second time we've seen that. Just they're hitting the bid and they can't take it off her. Give it a little bit more time. I mean, only 500, 200. Look at that, just soaking it all up. Yeah, this might go lower. I don't. It's tough, man. I mean, they soaked up 3,000, almost 4,000 last time, 4,000 this time. See, this is why, in my opinion, it's always important to wait for your optimal entry. Identified 16 even. I could have got filled there. Then I would have been 2 ticks off. And if that nonsense wants to happen, that's fine. Gives me a little bit more breathing room to sort of wait it out and watch and see what happens. But just taking 1 tick like that, I mean, that's the reason why I took 1 tick, I think. It's because my entry was kind of poor. I didn't like it to begin with. It made it uneasy. But on a day like today, I feel like that should have just fallen through with all the size they were putting through there. They put 11,000. That should have gone down. So I'll hang with it for now. I mean, we'll see what happens. But I kind of want to wait and let this area shake out a little bit before re-engaging. And I'm going to kind of continue to caffeinate, take a little walk, shake it off, come back fresh. Okay, I am back here at the desk, and I'm not going to lie, I'm having a bit of FOMO. I mean, things have really slowed down quite a bit, but I'd be 2 ticks in the money right now, and this thing is going lower. I'm telling you, it's going lower. So I'm tempted to get back in, but I'm trying to resist FOMO. I would be wrong all the way up here at basically 16.5 and 17. But I know it's going lower. So try to always remind myself the trade is still valid. My entry is going to suck. But the trade is still valid. I still think we saw rejection by sellers at that level. You know what? I'm gonna wait. If it gets back up here, I'll sell it back down. If not, then screw it. I missed it. It's that's the way it needs to be played. So resisting FOMO. If it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. That's how it goes. That's the game. Okay, so here we are back up at 15.5, 16. I'm really glad I didn't sell this down at 14.5. I would be kicking the shit out of myself right now. And I don't like kicking the shit out of myself. It's a lot of work. I get tired and I get my ass kicked. So we can see here how the profile has changed a little bit. I don't know previously if you recall, but this came down, had a pretty decent ledge here, and then it had, you know, we had continuation down, and this is actually filled in. It started to fill in now. So based on the profile, this is telling me that this overnight low has kind of lost its significance. It might be significant on a chart, but from an order flow perspective, it's basically just the middle of the range now. So that's given me a lot of pause at this point that sellers could not reject that level and push this back down and start trading down here. So we've seen acceptance right here from both buyers and sellers. Buyers are willing to buy, sellers are willing to sell. That's why it's just kind of not going anywhere and just filling all this in. So I'm back to sitting on my hands for that reason. So new plan is basically looking at something here at the current low, or maybe the pit high if we get back up here to 23 even. But just think that getting involved here, you're just going to get chopped up. Again, I could be wrong, but that's what I'm seeing right now. So I'm making the decision right now just to sit on my hands and let this play out a little bit more. I don't care if this trades down again. It is what it is. Ultra bonds trading down, 30 years trading down, 5 years trading down. Where is the smart money? Well, it looks like this is in fact trading down. If I would have just hung in there at 15.5, have some pretty good profits already in the bag. That's really unfortunate. Just kind of spooked myself, I guess. What I think I'm going to do is just shut this down It looks like it's moving pretty well. Maybe we'll just let it ride. If we get down here to 11 or 10 half, take a look at how long. For a second there, I thought this 13 half, this step here at 13 half was going to stick, but they eventually popped through it. It's nice 4,000 down, just hit the bid and just destroy it. That's what it'll do. See, it's curious to see what happens if we do get back up to this level, because all these people that bought here are gonna have to unload those positions and drive this back down. Anyway, just wanted to get on and give a quick update. That is what we're looking at. It's kind of a long video for nothing, which sucks. But I'm resisting the urge to trade just to fill the time on the video. That's not the intent of these videos. The intent is basically just to keep myself honest. Not only that, but just to learn. I guess the intent of the video itself is for me to be able to learn from what I'm doing and kind of self-actualize and look back and see mistakes I've made and why I'm making them and so on and so forth. But the intent on publishing them is basically accountability, to keep myself accountable. Much like a NFL player has to watch tape of themselves after the game or after the practice. They don't want to look foolish on film. That's kind of a motivator. It can be a motivator for a lot of players. So that keeps their head on straight, because they don't want to look like a jackass in front of their buddies. It's basically the same thing with me. I'm opening myself up to public ridicule, and if I do stupid shit, I would expect the public to ridicule me. But nobody's harder on me than me. Anyway, not sure where that came from, but rant over. Again, still watching, waiting. If we get down here to the lows, maybe we'll take a fade it back up. Actually, it's not a fade at this point. It's more of a double bottom, but that's what we would be looking for. And that is about it at this point. So we're back up here to the overnight low. We're seeing rejection again. I know I previously passed on this trade because it's in the middle of the zone, but this volume basically was created at a different time. It's really, I'm focusing on this volume. This is the range we traded in. So anything above 16 was all overnight. Basically the pit, or anything after, I don't know, the pit opens 7 a.m. my time. If you were to look at that volume profile, it would taper off quite a bit right here. So I don't know if I'm talking myself into something, but I'm going to cut the lot size down, I believe, and sell this sucker. It's really because also, looking over here at the ES, if it holds 28.16 half again, so buyers have kind of stepped in at that level quite a bit. As you can see from the volume profile, it's also just below the VWAP, which is a great buying opportunity for people that buy the ES. So that would need to hold. Basically, if they do pop through it and hit the lows in the ES, this would need to hold. 16 would need to hold in the ZN. So that's what I'm looking at right now. A little convoluted, but it's still consistent with my original plan. This morning. So cut my lot size in half, got into 2 contracts on there. Got filled. We'll see what happens. Basically, we are wrong at right at 17. And that's not right. This needs to be 2. I need to change those settings. Here we go. Need some follow through on that. Yeah, I don't like how quickly that pulled off there at 16. So I deleted that because because of the nature of the price action right now. And this thing, in my opinion, would just as easily get back down to my entry. Or not. Son of a bitch. Yeah, I'm pretty wrong here. Pretty wrong. Might need to just get out of this pretty fucking quick. Let's see what happens here. If we start making new lows, then I'll just cover it. Yep, we are in trouble. I think, looks like. So the ZN is obviously reacting to what's going on over here in the ES. And my concern is the ES is going to pop up, hit this previous low area, and that's going to act as resistance, and it's just going to push it right back down. So I am going to be very quick to scratch this if we do get down to this level. In fact, I should be hanging an order out right now to try to scratch it. See, they're already getting pushed back right here. And I should be happy with just a 1 tick loss, because I was hanging out there at 4 at one point. And what happens too is that this area traded down, and then we popped it. Now we're coming back to it, so it acts as support for a move higher. And the people just like me that went short here, they're all trying to cover too. And that will fuel this move higher, theoretically. I am going to put a stop loss in there. So we need buyers to step in over here on the ES and drive that higher. I'm going to take that scratch off and just accept if I lose on this trade. I'm working on, when you enter a trade, you got to let it play out. Although I didn't do it on this one, you got to let it play out one way or the other, meaning you got to be willing to take either the profit or the loss at the moment you enter the trade. You have to be 100% comfortable with that. So we're just sort of, the context made me delete my stop loss previously, because I knew this would just pop up and pop, we'd easily get back down here, or chances were we'd get back down here for the opportunity to scratch, which I just took off. And you got to take that out. Let's go 400. Damn, man. Come on. Yes, take it out. Let's go. Follow through. Let's go. Follow through. Step up over here. I should be quicker to take this off. So capital preservation is key. That's the first thing we're here for is to preserve capital. The second thing we're here for is to make money. Just giving a few more seconds. Hitting down with 400 on offer. We might have missed it. That's the danger. $800 in the queue. Damn. Don't know how much longer we can hold on here. Totally missed that one. Could have scratched it. Still 800 in the queue. $250 in the queue. 240. Scratch. Okay, video done. I am gonna get ready to go to Padres opening day. It's shaping up to be a gorgeous day here in San Diego, and I don't know if I'll get this video edited and uploaded in time, but if I don't, you will definitely see it on Monday when I get back. No trading tomorrow, as I will be catching a flight tonight on my way to Dallas, Texas. So wish me luck. Happy trading, everybody. Good luck, and just follow your process. You'll be all right.